We are recording, we are live. Yeah, the markets are pretty boring at the moment. And what I try and do is I try and tune into the heuristics that you often repeat. Like, it might not be appropriate to this right now, but like the heuristics, like same turd rolled in a different glitter, these things get into your head and you're like, okay, this is a way that I can think about the market and look at the market. And it's interesting you say about things being boring, because there's another heuristic that, I'm sure that you've said before, and it's just before this thing really takes off, there'll be a moment where you think to yourself, oh, fuck this. This might not be it.
This whole it's not for me, it's all shit.
Yeah. And this sideways period, it grinds people down, and it
if this is your first cycle, this would be heartbreaking. I'd be like, if I hadn't done this for 10 years, I'd be like, fuck.
What is that?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, look, we're up pretty substantially on the year, but look where it's got to at times. Like if we go back to September last year, alts have gone from here to here. Like in theory, the average altcoin is up 90%, but it hasn't done it in a very nice way, has it? Like it's been frankly horrible.
I never thought, and there's that word, never, right? Which is the wrong word to use, especially in probability. But I bought Woo again at 11 cents, and that just seemed ridiculous.
I mean, that seems just so overdone to me. I mean, that really, it's still down there. I mean, I sold out of mine because it looked bad, but like it got down to 10 cents. Like this is a monster exchange now. It's like 10 times the exchange when it was at $1. Hyperliquid is going to drop its coin soon, by the way. You should be getting a whole bunch of Hyperliquid points. And there's some talk that the Hyperliquid coin is going to trade somewhere around $400 ish.
That's the begins with P, doesn't it?
No. Per is the one that they already dropped, which I missed out on.
Okay.
Fucking log in. But the actual HLP coin that owns the exchange, that's coming next.
Nice. So that should be an airdrop to anybody that uses
Hyperliquid, which is most of us, right?
Yeah, which is most of us. So it will just appear in your account when it's.
I think there might have to be something done to do it, but we're going to dig into that. So let's start with where we are. Start of the week. What happened in the stock market last week? Well, the stock market is after all the scary Japan bullshit, we're back within where's the all-time highs? There's the all-time highs. We're back within 1.82% of all-time highs in the S&P. %, 5% from the all-time highs in the NASDAQ. Gold, we're not August, we are December, which is Z 2024. Gold at all-time highs. This is quite significant. What this is, let's look at a continuous contract so it's easy to see, is this is both candidates in the election are proposing wildly inflationary policies, like money printing stuff. Trump wants to take the Federal Reserve independence away and appoint his own guy who's going to lower interest rates because that's politically popular. The Democrat chick wants to fixed prices on rents and groceries and bullshit like that. Like that's just the dumbest shit in the world, right? Like,
Mm.
you know, if you want to talk about corporations price gouging, like supermarkets have a price margin of about 2%. Like they're not, the supermarkets aren't actually gouging. It's one of the worst businesses in the world. You don't want to put controls on them or rent because it just doesn't work. All it's like none of
It's
that
like
shit.
a Theresa May type policy.
Yeah, it's just it's idiotic. Gold is on a tear. Interest rates. TNX is your 10-year interest rate yield if you just want to see it as interest rates, not as bond prices. And we're seeing interest rates coming down a little bit in the context of a general interest rates are going up. What else do we need to look at in TradFi? We need to look at September crude to see if there's any war breaking out. And obviously, this is the opening that happened a few weeks ago. We've got very muted reaction to that. So nothing bad in the war world. You don't need to really check. So instead of checking the news and like CNN or whatever, or Fox News for like what's happening in Iran, because their news is all biased to upset you, right? Like it's like the stuff that rates highest for them, that clicks highest is the stuff that upsets you. So if you read the news, all that happens is you just end up getting anxious and agitated and scared. And what you want to do is look at the opening value for the week and see how this, if it opened about where it closed on the week, then on the weekend, then nothing fucking happened from Friday to Monday. Right? Like if something really bad happened and there was a chance that the world's sixth biggest oil producer was going to get blown up, that'd be up here. So you don't even need to check the news when you do that. And the daily chart of crude coming down off a peak of fear last week. Bitcoin, completely boring week, as we saw. We've got a really clear kind of like line in the sand moment here. What we want to see is a clear break above here. I think above here we're good. Could chop around a bit more, but you know, the market has found it in 4 days. We went from, what was this, 50 to 62. And then we took a week and then we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, nearly 2 weeks to get from 62 down to 58. So objectively, it's elevator up, stairs down now. So what I mean is that it's easier for the market to go up than down. So this to me is like a little beach ball pushing under the water. As soon as we get a little pump, it's going to pop, because every person who sells out now is a person who was going to sell out anyway. Like it's this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. These were guys who all had price targets around here, who would have sold as soon as it pumped up to here, as soon as they got their money back here. So these guys are no longer in the game. They're no longer sellers at any price. So when it goes, there's an absence of sellers. Let's have a look at, first of all, the major alts and then the average alt. So I want to look at ETH first. Basically the same thing, but a little weaker than Bitcoin. Solana, basically the same thing, but a little bit weaker than Bitcoin. The average altcoin, exactly the same thing, but a much tighter pattern. So this is really unusually clear. Like this is easy, and this is like that. It's just boring. I'm kind of happy with it. What I'm not happy with is the big difference between the performance of alts. So if we look at things that are reasonably big. Cake looks a little bit better than most things. Matic looks a little bit worse. Audit, this was previously a really hot girl on campus. Looks exactly like every other coin. CVX manipulated coin. This one looks bad. AVAX looks like everything else. INJ looks like everything else, maybe a bit better. Woo looks like everything else, but it's been murdered first. Link looks like everything else, maybe a little bit weaker. DYDX, some of these dinosaur coins are coming back. Near, I hold this one. It's looking a little worse than average things. Scam coin, Twink coin looks worse than ever, and so it fucking should. Terrible, terrible scam this one. With Solana beta, weak but still above there. You know, and various shit coins just look the shit we were trading in February. I want to look at Sui, which was on a tear last week. You want to really stay away from this one. This one looks like a concerted pump. There's an unlock happening on it now. Only, whoa, 26% unlocked. They've got an upcoming event in 12 days. These guys will all sell out as soon as they can. So you want to stay away from Sui. That's a fake pump. ENA, which I'm in, looks fucking terrible. SEI, another hype coin, looks the same as everything else, but terrible. IMX, terrible. Ape meme coin, terrible. Doge, same as everything. So a BNB is one we should look at. It looks a bit better than the others. So you can see we've had this little pump. AI coin FET looks pretty terrible, but I wouldn't rule it out. What else have we got here? Hondo, back to where it was in March. What else have we got? Small things like QDOS, all-time lows. If you're holding this one, you've got to be out of it. This Vertex, no actual trading on KuCoin. That's terrible. That looks awful. Our exit looks pretty good on it though. Bought here, let's sold here. Pendle looks good. Going up when everything else is going down. I think we should dig in a little bit to the rare trade, and I should explain how all that works, right?
Great idea.
All right.
There's been a couple of people that have posted about the great result that they got in the chat today. James is giving you a heads up for what he did, and Christine is up 12% already. So
there must have been some bitching, because what happened is I thought it was going down here. I wasn't actually in it. I thought it was going down here. It squeezed again and then came back down. This one's dead now. You can short this with confidence, but let me show you how it works. So when you see a manipulated market, what we're going to do is press this plus button here and put in the perpetual futures contract. So I'm going to put in the Binance, the Bybit perpetual futures contract. Now, these two, every 8 hours, these two should converge. The only reason they can get out of whack is because someone's selling in size into the pump. And you can see before, as part of any pump and dump process, you see these big gaps. And I saw these gaps and I thought we're about here. I thought actually here was the point where I called it. I thought this was going down. It went down for a minute and squeezed out. And then it happened again. insiders, you can see here very clearly that insiders dumped in here. So what this means is someone is pumping the spot price while dumping the perp price. And this is the sign that they're just, if we look at volume over here, you're going to see that volume is going to, by the way, there's an indicator called beta volume, which I prefer over the regular volume. You can see that volume is going to go nuts when they're selling out, like these periods. So this is probably regular trading below here, and these ones are insiders cashing out. Now, this one looks done to me. It looks like any pump they're going to just sell into. So I'm pretty happy holding this. If you held it, I'm gonna short it when I open up my Bybit account. I only had Hyperliquid open yesterday, so I didn't bother. Yeah, it's an obvious fake scam pump. It's ready to die. Where would I expect it to go to? I would expect it to go usually these things go back to where we started. So I would have thought there is a stretch target, and probably you don't want to be super aggressive. Probably about there is a good target. Does that make sense to you, Ian?
It's really good, man. Yeah, I'm just getting another video for us on that we did before on the futures.
Where can you short this? You can short this on Bybit, Binance. You can't do it on Hyperliquid, which is annoying. There is a new thing called dumpy.fun. Which lets you short meme coins. So the coins that they've got, you can short Retardio, you can short Smoking Chicken Fish, short Jason, short Daddy Tate. Those are pretty attractive things to short. This is something I've got to. I can't believe they listed this. Actually, let's look at it on Dex screen. By the way, I really like for a shitty $7 million market cap coin, I really like Sigma right now. I like the price action in a down week is up. Let's look at I wouldn't short that. What were the other ones? Daddy Tate. Smoking Chicken Fish. I'd like to have shorted it last week. I probably wouldn't short that now. It's just gone. I mean, it's going to zero. It's a piece of crap. It's like this one was shielded coordinatedly by influencers like Raoul Pal and you know that they don't do that unless they're getting paid. They don't get paid unless they're being paid. Let's look at Jason Derulo, who's a serial scammer in the crypto space. Only $1.3 million, only 250K worth of liquidity. He's already trashed it. Let's look at top holders. Oh, look at this. Okay, so this is a disaster waiting to happen. the top holder, I'm going to show you, it has 21% of the supply. So, fucking asshole. Let's look at the bubble map. Where's the bubble map? So those who haven't done this before, this is what you should do before you buy a shitcoin. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is this contract address, capital HL. We want to check that this is the same one. You scroll down here to go. No, it's 6URSY. So let's look at. So it's this one. All right, so you can see what's happened. This guy here, the cluster has 4% in a cluster. Port number 3. Where's the big wallet? Oh shit, this guy. He's got 27% of the supply. And you can see what's happened is he's given it to this guy. This guy spread it out between 10 wallets. He's given it to this guy. This guy spread it out between 2 wallets. He's given it to this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And yeah, this is a disaster waiting to happen. And they've got this fucking thing listed on MEXC, who owns 1.78 of the supply. I would wait for a pump before shorting this. What do you think, Ian?
Well,
would you short it here or wait for a pump?
Let's have a look. I mean, how much is there left to short? That's the thing. It's looking pretty flatlined here.
Well, I mean, it's down to 1.3 from a high of like over 100.
I mean, I think I'd want to see if it pumps first, so there's something to actually ride.
Yeah, I'm a bit with you. Is there anything else appealing here? I don't want to short bonk. There's too much liquidity there. I don't know what the fuck win is. Let's have a look at that. $323K, 56 million market cap. It's a daily chart. Let's have a look at the top holders. 8, 6, 5, 3. Okay, so this is exactly what you want to see in a chart, in a meme coin that you want to short, because we've got a $56 million market cap coin. A $56 million market cap coin can absorb about 100 grand worth of selling before it starts to really affect the price, like really affect the price. And you've got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, all with life-changing money, like $2 million worth of fucking magic beans is life-changing money, right?
Yes, it is.
It is for anyone. And so these guys are in a trap. They're all, you know, that scene in Reservoir Dogs when everyone's standing around pointing guns at each other?
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. So we've got a prisoner's dilemma thing. This guy with $4.8 million worth of coins, he doesn't actually have more money than this guy with $1.1 million worth of coins. the first guy to dump has the most money. All of these guys are going to walk away with a maximum of probably 200 or 300 grand, right? Because once they start selling, the price is going to crater. So if this guy with $1 million worth of coins, if he's quick on the trigger, if he goes today and just dumps his coins, he's probably only going to get 200 grand. But then these guys are going to get fucking nothing. These guys are going to get 10 grand. So we have a real prisoner's dilemma game here. You can't predict this with technical analysis. What you can predict it is by putting alerts on the wallets, seeing by watching the transactions that come through, by watching the top traders. So you can see that this guy has already cashed out 420 grand. Let's have a look at that guy. And where did he cash out 420 grand? He cashed out right at loser time. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with one guy cashing out 420 grand and it's still kind of not dumping, this is probably not a good thing to short because it's been able to absorb 420 grand and go flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at our next top trader who's cashed out 275 grand worth for a profit of 148. So he didn't buy it early. What the fuck? Bought it here, sold it here, buy, sell, buy, sell. He's been buying more and propping the price up during that shit. Wow. So when we're looking at the top traders, we're seeing people who are actively trading this. Let's look at the next one. We're seeing a concerted effort amongst the top guys to support this here. This is not something I would short. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be buying, well, even before the dip, like buying on the way down. So the chances of it shorting versus how much they can buy means that the probability of our successful short is decreasing.
Yeah. So these shitter coins, they're just much more complicated to win off than the others. And the way that you win off these is by trading in line with the big wallets. That's, you want to just track the big people here. Okay, what else do we have to talk about? Let's talk about the meme sector in general. So let's look at Ape. It's like everything else. Monkey looks like everything else. Pepe, ETH beta looks like everything. Everything looks like everything else, right? What's some other memes that you like?
Well, Retardio, of course.
I mean, I love Retardio. Let's look at it on deck screen.
Yawn and Turbo, the two that have just come through.
Retardio I still think that's a phenomenal buy here. It's just retesting out. I checked the top holders and they ain't selling. If the top hold, so what would make me sell out of Retardio? Is when I start seeing these guys sell out, and you see they're not selling, they're buying, right?
Yeah.
Well, we saw some selling out here and then some buying back, but the most recent ones are buying back in. Okay, Turbo. This one's already gone. No, this isn't the right one. It's like a $600 million market cap thing. And it's got perpetual futures on it. Okay, so we got market cap. Wow, this is cool. Turbo whales, turbo number of investors, retail users, turbo's total value locked. I've got to dig into this. Have you seen this before? This is new.
No, this is the first time. This is really.
Wow. I mean, this is the wrong thing for me to start figuring it out. But to me, for a coin, okay, so let's talk a little about the life cycle of a meme coin. Early on, so before it even gets to Dex Screener, it starts off on pump.fun or something like that, or a pre-sale. Those guys bought it for like 1/10 of what it started out here. And so if we look at the holders and the bubble map, so the first thing we want to do is go down here and check the pair is 0x835. We'll go to the bubble maps and we'll go 0x835. Okay, and who have we got here? We've got OKX holding 14% there. We've got another exchange holding there. We've got Gate.io. I mean, this shit is listed. MEXC, listed in crypto. Huobi and MEXC, it's Uniswap liquidity pool, CoinX Gold, like it's listed everywhere. Okay, so in the life cycle of a coin, we have around here, this is $70,000 market cap. So at $70,000 market cap, you can't sell $5,000 worth before you crash it. So what happens is it always pumps as bots try and buy it. And then it always immediately crashes as the people who bought before it even got to here have a 1,000% profit and they just dump into this. Because why? Because you're not taking any risk. 99% of coins fail. So by the numbers, 98.5% of coins fail before they even get to this point. So they're like tadpoles, they all get in. The ones that get here, 95% of them fail before they get to 1 million market cap, which was about here. This thing got up to like 600 million market cap. And what is it now? 283. At 100 million market cap is the line in the sand. 100 million market cap is the point where someone like me, who's a reasonably serious investor, who if I want to make a meaningful bet on this, it has to be 50 grand or 100 grand, or I can't really justify playing because it's just going to take up more of my time than it's worth. So for me, I either bet 5 or 10 grand amounts way back here, or I bet 50 or 100 grand amounts about here. If you're a reasonable size investor, you can't invest 100 grand here because you can't sell it. Like you just can't. Like this, it's impossible to sell. At about here, you can start to get serious investors. The question is, did those serious investors sell out to the, if it's listed on an exchange, a couple of things happen. So first of all, the exchange has to buy a bunch of the coin because they need to have some for their market maker, right? So if we look at the list of, if we look at the bubble map, these are mostly exchanges, right? So what happened is all the guys who bought down here, they get to sell out their shit at a very inflated price. to the exchanges. That's a great thing to happen for any investor, right? Buy as a little guy, sell to a big corporation. The second thing that happens is that those big exchanges have a bunch of retail dumbasses and they see, wow, that's a cool name, Turbo. It's on the top it's on the top mover list. I'll buy some of that. And so it probably continues to go up. The big question is, what is it now? So what is it now? It's kind of like Doge in that it's listed everywhere. It probably can't completely die. Whereas, for example, Retardio could completely die. So this is somewhat safer than most meme coins. You can trade it in a lot more places than most meme coins. You could buy and sell $1 million worth of this now, and you can't buy and sell $1 million worth of Retardio right now. As stupid as it sounds, this is a safer meme coin. If memes in general go up and it's on Ethereum and Ethereum memes go up, this thing is probably going to pump. I would consider this ETH beta now. So this is basically the equivalent of holding ETH on leverage, but you can't get liquidated. What was the other one that people were asking about?
Honke, Ponke.
MON or BONKE?
Sorry, PON November KE. Honke. There we go.
Hey, it's 156 million market cap. It was up to 300, well, 300 or 400 before that. It's got a lot of liquidity in. Let's look at its top holders. And the contract is called 5Z something. So let's go to here. Oh, I've got it. So yeah, you got to set the network right. Where is it? ONK. And so let's just copy that and whack this into bubble numbers. All right. Fuck me. Bybit's accumulating it. Wonder who this guy is. That's a bit stinky.
See Gate and MXC on almost all of these coins we look at.
This is the Radium liquidity pool. I mean, so the more exchanges they get listed on, the more the exchanges, Bybit holds 7% of the supply. You really think they're going to let it go to zero? Come on. Like they're not about, like 7% of the supply on $150 million coin is, $10 million. Really think they're going to piss $10 million away? Probably not. This guy, let's copy this wallet. He's the one I'm a bit concerned about. And let's get some traders. But you're a fucking idiot. Bought here and sold here. How'd you manage to make money? He bought early and he must have held early. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go up here and we can copy and paste the address that we copy and pasted for this for this address that we didn't really know what was going on. What we want to see is this motherfucker selling out? And he is not. He is held right from the start. This guy hasn't sold a coin yet. He's a bit dangerous. Why is he dangerous? He holds 5% of the supply. It's $150 million worth of coin. That's $7 million worth of asset. If he wants to start cashing out his asset, which if he's got any brains at all, he will want to start cashing out his asset, he's going to push it around. On the other hand, Bybit probably aren't going to let it go to zero. This is not a bad play at all. This is not a bad play at all. Yeah, okay, so the next thing that you do in evaluating these things is, first of all, let's look at the bare minimum. Let's look at their Twitter. The first thing you want to say is the meme funny? Is there anything particularly unusual or funny or about this? What do you guys think in the chat? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the funniest thing you've ever seen, the cutest thing you've ever seen, the most memorable thing you've ever seen. 1 is, yeah, it's a solid 2. 1 to 3, right? It's derivative of Pepe, yawn, meh. So to me, this is kind of like a me too. Let's look at some of their memes to see. I mean, it's not the worst effort I've ever seen, but it's also not. It's pretty
Extra kind of wow, does it? That, you know, where they really catch the zeitgeist or the moment and you're like, oh yeah. Or does it pass the chuckle test?
so. Billy is one that passes the chuckle test. That's a fucking cute dog. Just a dog, but it's a fucking cute dog.
Exactly. Look at that.
Okay, the next thing you want to ask yourself is, does it have a good ticker? Is it funny? Does it have a good ticker? A ticker like, for example, Sigma is a great ticker. Now, in comparison, what do you guys think of these as memes compared to Honky? I mean, it's a bit derivative, like, but it's still out of 10. It's still a lot better than the last one, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely see that, like, the type of like wannabe internet tough guy would think that this is kind of cool.
Yeah, if you've just finished watching your A to Z of Tate and you see this, you're revved up, you're ready to go. I mean, it's all canon stuff as well, you know. They're really trying hard not to miss Goodfellas, Matrix, you know.
Okay, so this is a better meme. The next thing you want to do is you want to look at their community. Let's open up this fucking. Let's look at their Telegram. let's be friends too. I couldn't do fucking what. Looks like a bare minimum sort of a thing. And then the next thing that we want to do is look at some of the replies on their tweets.
It's like people that follow Retardio, they're using that word as part of their day-to-day language now. It's moved into the lexicon, and that just adds more and more weight to the memes.
So what you want to see is influential people, like people with high follow accounts doing shit. Now, if we compare and contrast Sigma, which is a $7 million meme cap, with Retardio, $12,000 views, 5.8 views, 3.4 thousand views.
This looks a lot more original in its
yeah. Okay. So guys, what do you think in the chat about this in comparison in terms of Todd? AI is definitely making up a lot of these.
Go pass card. I want one.
I mean, this is definitely more original, right?
Yeah, those drawings are pretty unique.
They start pictures with the Bored Apes crowd and the Mad Labs crowd. Like, if you're a Bored Ape, which is $100,000 NFT, you've just got a penis on your head. So you can see that this is something that might have more like more originality to it. How is the community? Look at what they're doing. This is Wall Street Bets, which is a big account with 1 million followers, and we've got Retardio as being the first comment. Like, that's clever. They've got 1,800. It's the chuckle test. And then you look at some of these other memes that are doing the same shit. Let's scroll down. Is there anything funny about this? Preferred data? What the fuck? Like, and it's healthy and delicious. Like,
just sort of content, just filler,
just sad. Like, none of that. So if you look at it, caca. I mean, that's just dumb. Sad filler. Exactly. Yeah. Call me Habibi, which is friend in Arabic. Like, I mean, that's just dumb. Like, so in my opinion, this is what you do. You apply some kind of filter. Is it remotely funny? Is the joke just like is the joke transferable to some other joke? Like, the dog with hat became cat with hat, became Trump with hat. Is that going to be a meta that could catch on? What's the community like? Are the community into it, or are they just posting to try and pump their own bags? If they're just posting to try and pump their own bags, they're going to dump as soon as the price goes up. So there's no point, right? Like there's no point at all. You've got to have people who are making their identity as part of this coin. That's the trick for it. Then it's got to get to $100 million. Then it's got to get listed on exchanges. Once it's got listed on exchanges, then it's a different thing. Gareth has a good question. Does it come down to a massive group of Asians loving it versus American kids? Yeah, Asian tastes, particularly Korean tastes, are very, very different. I don't know if you guys know many Koreans, but especially male and female Koreans are very, very fucking different. Yeah, so basically I apply like a dickhead filter to this. Is this fucking stupid or not? Like it's a blink test. Do I like it? No. You know, I kind of like Billy right from the start because that was a cute dog. Is there anything to that other than that? Not really. And then we start looking at who's holding it and are they selling it? And have they got prior success? You know, I know the people behind Billy were similar people behind Retardio. So I know they've got success, they've got money, they don't need to sell out. That's a different thing. I wouldn't buy Rare long, dude. I would short Rare. I think Rare is a rug pull in the making, dude. If you I think the dishes are done with Rare. I'm happy to short that here. And as soon as this call ends, I will be doing exactly that. I said that yesterday. I believe it even more today. Mark Cuban was a Rare holder. That's a good fucking reason to short it. Like I don't know shit. Yeah. Yeah, anything else I can look at for you guys while we're here? I haven't seen the new snipers tag on deck screener. Let's have a look at it. Where is the snipers tag? Andrew, they need Ethereum and Sol to the liquidity pool for meme coins. You don't just need a pool of people willing to lend you their shitcoin. You need people willing to lend you their Ethereum and their Solana so that you can trade back and forth between them. That's how a market maker trades back and forth between the shitcoin and Ethereum or the shitcoin and Solana, and they need both.
So the trade alert has gone out for Rare, and when we do a short, the direction name on the trade alert is going to be sell to open. There's a comment just in the chat there, and I'm unsure about what to do with the trade alert. So a sell to open, that is taking a short. On that same trade alert log, there's also a link to the community post and to the trade log as well. So that will give you all of the links to where you can buy this coin and who to chat with it with. So the shorting, it is different from going long. So this is something to be aware of. And generally, the more advanced traders are the ones that do the shorts. Anybody can do them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the links to other weeks' calls that we've had that have gone through. Like there's one call that I'm going to link to. It's when Scott just did a full deep dive on this. These are perpetual futures. These are the buttons you press, and so on and so forth.
I would say, as a general rule, the difference between shorting and longing is when a short can only go to zero. Whereas a short, if it goes the other way, has potentially unlimited loss. Like if you shorted it here, it might not stop here. It might go up another 1,000% and completely fuck it. So you have to have some sort of limit control. In general, the limit control that you want is either a hard stop loss here, which is my least favorite way of doing it. I do this when I go to bed. There's three basic methods. This is the easiest one. Just go wherever's the high at the time. So if you shorted it here, as soon as it gets there, you're out. That's the easiest one. It also has some problems because sometimes the market will do this and then immediately double top. To avoid that, you can have a situation where you say, I will only exit if it closes above my line. So you can see here, instead of getting out right here, you would get out here. That's the second method. Does that make sense? The third method, which I also quite like, if I'm going to bed, is to use a hard stop loss and give it a little bit of breathing room. Like just in case it does some fuck around up here, just give it a little bit of breathing room and leave a hard stop loss. You have to have some sort of risk control with your positions. You have to. And the best risk control is the one that you actually do. So the best risk control is, I wanted 1,000, the best risk control is like FINREP does it, is to automatically up and resize your positions according to the perfect position size continuously. Is that practical for a home trader on a weekend to sit in front of their screen and do that? No, it's not really. So these sorts of risk control methods with a hard stop loss, a closing basis stop loss, or what I call a French stop loss. A French stop loss is a fashionably late stop loss. Those are the three methods. Any of those, 100 times better than doing fucking nothing at all, right?
Absolutely. And if we go to the
and if you don't want to use those at all, don't use leverage. No one said that you have to lever this thing up at 100 to 1. You know, a perfectly reasonable thing is to short this thing at 1-to-1 leverage. Now, what happens if you're even less, if you're even more risk averse than this? How do you do it? You find a similar thing and you go long it at the same time. So you might, so if it's a Solana coin, like let's say we're shorting dog with hat, if you think dog with hat is going to go down, you can go short dog with hat and long Bitcoin at the same time. And that gives you a, this is dog with hat against Bitcoin. And then let's plot it over. So you can see that when WIF goes up, it goes up faster than going long with short Bitcoin. But when it goes down less going that way. So you get kind of a muted thing. And you could also do, you could short twice as much Bitcoin as you did WIF. And that would look like a much quieter version of it. Or tweak that 5. And you can see this one wouldn't go up as much and wouldn't go down, you know, from the highs. You can see it wouldn't go down as much and it wouldn't go up as much. So that would be a slightly less risky way of doing things. So there's plenty of options for playing these things, depending on how risky you are. I prefer to keep things simple. If you are taking shorts and you've got mostly longs in your account, that's generally a good thing because you're not going to win both of them, or unlikely to win both of them.
What's your, just to wrap up, Scott, what's your general kind of overall thoughts for you know, hands off the wheel, go careful? What should we be doing this week?
I think we should wait for signs of strength. So here's my take. Here's my plan for the week. I want to see.
Need to share screen again.
Sorry. I want to see us to start to break this red line and close above it. I don't want to see this tap the red line and then go back down. I don't want to see tap the red line and go back down. What would make me interested in getting off my fat ass and actively trading again, which I'm not actively trading right now. If you actively trade in markets where they go down, up, down, settle the same, up, down, up, down, up, down, up looks good, down, up looks okay, down, up. You know, this is just like standing there and just waiting to be kicked in the nuts. It's just generally, if you've actively traded the last week, you would have had a shit day at the races. So what I want to do is if you actively trade here, as long as you get the direction right, you're golden. If you actively trade here, as long as you get the direction reasonably right, you're golden. If you actively trade here, you couldn't fuck it up. Like you just couldn't. So really most of trading success is about and the one advantage we have as retail traders is we can pick the time. I don't have to sit in the order book every day. I'm doing a bunch of FinRev system development today because I don't want to sit in the order book today because it's going to be a shit thing to do. It's not going to make me any money. It's probably going to cost me money. And I can make all of you guys money by improving FinRev for a day. Make sense?
Absolutely. Well, that was a cracking call. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Scott.
All right.
See you.
Week, everyone.